Hello, this is Penny. Welcome to Pod Popper's Place. I am going to be working with Kendra's card challenge number 17 today, and our super sponsor, this calls for confetti. They sent me some confetti to work with, these cute, adorable bunnies, and this paper pad called Speckled that has different shades of about 8 different colors. You get a dark shade and a light shade of the same color. They also sent these transfer sheets, which are super fun to play with. One's in gold and one's in white. I will be using everything they sent me today and using card sketch number 15, but I'm going to turn it vertically today. For my first card, I'm only going to be using the tiny little bunny, and I'm going to be making a shaker card. It is a little more complicated than I anticipated it to be, and if I had to do it over again, I would do it differently, but this is an idea I had, and so I just went with it. I am using some sparkly paper for my in-between sheets, just to brighten it up a little bit between this pretty speckled paper that the this calls for confetti sent me, and I had some fun glitter paper that kind of matched the different colors that I was using, so I thought it worked really well for my little striped pieces in between. If you are unfamiliar with Kendra's card sketches, let me tell you a little bit about it. Kendra's card sketch challenge is a quarterly challenge, so we are coming to the end of our third month, so the first quarter is about to end, but a new one will be starting very soon. You can go to kendrascardchallenges.com to find out all the details. I used washi tape for this to hold the little bunny down, and I really shouldn't have. It was too strong, and it ended up ripping my paper a little bit. So I do have to, rather than starting over, I do have to kind of figure out how am I going to fix that later on. Kendra's challenge is a lot of fun, and I really enjoy participating every quarter. You can also participate by going to Patreon and signing up for a free account with Kendra, where then you will have access to the PDF that has all of the cutting guides for 6 sheets of 6x6 paper to create 15 unique cards. Once I've got my little bunnies cut, I do get out a piece of acetate and just cut it down to the size for the same size as the piece of paper that I have there, maybe tiny, a little bit smaller so that it doesn't show. I use double-sided tape to hold that acetate sheet down, and of course I don't get it on there perfectly straight, so I do have to trim the edges slightly, just so that none of the edges are showing behind that. And then my idea is to put the little bunnies on the paper behind the windows, so that you can see the bunnies, but they're behind the shaker bits, if that makes sense. I struggled with how to do this and where am I going to lay this, so I ended up using some glue dots for the bunnies so that they would stay in place, and then I go back in with some regular glue and just try to glue them down the rest of the way, because the glue dots, we didn't want the glue dots sticking up and then the shaker bits get stuck behind it, or the glue dots, if they're not permanent, sometimes they won't hold very long. And this is kind of where I made a mistake. This is some double stick foam, and they're thin, they're really narrow and thin, and it's just, yeah, I would never have done this again this way. I didn't need the double thickness here, not for the bits that I was putting in. For some reason, I just thought I needed that double thickness, and this is just so thick, it just ended up just being like too thick. But anyway, I used the confetti mix that they sent me, but then I also had confetti mix from this calls for confetti that had these little carrots and little gold pieces and other colors in it, and so I decided to mix those in with the new things that they sent. They don't, I believe, have the carrot one anymore. I'm not really sure, but I thought for the bunnies the carrots would be super cute. So because this is that double thick foam strips, I didn't like that you could see all of that. It just was not pretty. So I decided to take some of that same glitter type paper and just take some strips and wrap it around the outside, and I just cut it to like 1/4 inch thick and just wrapped it around the outside, so you won't be able to see that on the sides anymore. And then I'm just using some more of that tape to glue that down and hopefully try and get it over the bunnies on the back there. So maybe I should have just left the bunnies off. I thought they were cute, and so I decided to keep them because I figured you'd be able to see them through the window. And so I am using one of these rub-on transfers. This is the Peter Cottontail little garden themed one. It's super cute, and I'm putting that onto my half circle for the card sketch. It does like end up going over the edge slightly, but I think you can read enough of it that you get the idea, and it's super cute. Fun way to add a sentiment to that without actually being a sentiment. So just a fun little addition there to the carrot and bunny theme. And then I am using some of those same confetti mix pieces to add on top of my card edges. And I wanted to add like a Easter or something because I didn't like what I had put over that little rip on paper that I showed you earlier. So I ended up forgetting to film this last part, but all I did was use This Calls for Confetti, their stamp set, and put the Happy Easter on top of that and just kind of hid that ripped part that I did earlier. So the Happy's from a different set, but the Easter is from This Calls for Confetti, and it actually is a really cool set. If you haven't seen that one before, I will link that in the description box below. So for this next card, I am going to be using all 3 bunnies, and it's going to be like a mama, papa, and a baby bunny kind of scene. And I actually really love how this came out. I thought it was super cute. I also thought this would be a really great little welcome to the family for a baby card kind of thing with a mama, papa, and baby bunny. Super cute, just putting them in different colors and everything. So I'm using the same This Calls for Confetti paper that they sent. I'm just using some of the darker shades of the same colors that I had used previously. And I am using the front of the card pack for the little bow, for part of the little bow. And that's a way to definitely get more use out of some of these things because they sent these great covers with your paper. And so I'm going to be utilizing that as well. I'm going to put the little bow on the little bunny, and it does come with 2 bows, so you can add these little addition pieces there. And so I'm going to glue those onto her bow. It is a little tricky, but I just do it upside down with the glue already on there and then press those through, and they stick pretty well. You just have to like poke and make sure you get those out. Once again, I'm using the front of the paper pad, and I'm cutting out a green bow for the papa, except for his is going to be a bow tie. And then for the mama, I'm putting one in by her ears just on a different angle than the little baby bunny. This is card sketch number 3, and I'm going to use one of the gold transfer pieces, and it's really one of the smaller ones because I need it to fit inside of this little circle that will go on the front of the card. This is giveaway hop today, so please be sure to go in the description box to fill out a form to have a chance to win a prize from Kendra. And this is a video hop, so please go to the description box to see the playlist. Hit the play all so that you can see all the creators in the hop today and get lots of inspiration for Kendra's challenge. And I'm going to use an additional piece of the speckled paper for my back layer, and I am going to cut that center out. I really am fond of cutting the centers out of these back layers because you can't see that there's a missing piece, and then you really get to utilize all the paper that you have and not waste any of that. I put this frame down first onto my base layer so that I have because this is just a thin frame, I wanted to have a base to put everything down on top of. So I am using some this gray cardstock is from my stash. I thought the gray would be a nice addition because it wouldn't interfere with any of the other colors that I have and distract from that. And yet it has a slight pattern to it too. After I get this piece glued down to the side, because there is a little banner that goes on the top right corner, so you do have to put it slightly to the side, there is a strip that goes across the front. I have these frames that I like to use, and of course none of them are exactly the right size for my rectangle here, but if I just use a smaller one, then I can still use a another small triangle, or excuse me, rectangle on the bottom as well, and it kind of gives a whole new look to the card. Rather than being one large rectangle, it's two smaller ones. I do get kind of fussy with getting this down properly because it's super important that it gets laid down, because obviously I can't trim anything if it doesn't line up exactly. So I tried to be very careful about making sure this was lined up perfectly, so that none of the pink cardstock was showing behind my gold layers there. So I have to apologize. My camera ran out of storage and I didn't realize. And so the end of this video and the making of this card is going to cut off here shortly. I will include photos of the card at the end so that you can see the finished product. And if you have any questions about how I completed the card, I would be happy to answer those for you. Just leave a comment down below and I will be sure to respond. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope you come back again really soon. Bye-bye.